Imagine with me that an Islamic country in this day and age imposes war reparations on the world's #1 superpower. Could this really happen? This is exactly what the new Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei demanded from America. Pay us the compensation, or we will completely destroy your assets in the region today. In fact, we have very important details about the latest developments in this war. Developments that put Trump before two options: either pay the compensation or Australia leaves. Australia leaves? How is that? This is our topic today. Stay with us, Australia. And our dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our latest episode today, God willing, in this series of opinion episodes, which we always dedicate to following the latest developments in this war on Iran. Today, our dear viewers, we have a set of points, very important points. And the first thing we will start with in this episode is this strong comeback of Lebanese Hezbollah, the strong comeback that surprised everyone, to be honest. Everyone, including Israel. It was believed that the Lebanese party had collapsed, that it was living its final days after it recently accepted the terms to stop the previous war and withdrew behind the Litani River and so on, and that it would also be stripped of the remaining weapons it had. But last night the party came back again and came back strongly, surprising everyone. Last night the area witnessed a joint strike that lasted all night and continued until this morning. And this, as I explained to you in yesterday's episode, clearly shows that we are now truly entering a new phase of escalation in this war. What happened was the strongest and most coordinated joint strike ever between Iran and Lebanese Hezbollah. This Israeli entity is burning and experiencing its worst night ever. At the same time, we find that Lebanese Hezbollah launched more than 150 rockets and a large number of drones in a single night, striking a group of military targets in northern Israel. We also find that Iran launched a large number of modern ballistic missiles at the same time, so it was a joint, coordinated and integrated operation, which led to disastrous results for Israel. The American newspaper New York Post, quoting sources from within the Israeli army, said that half of the rockets launched from Lebanon succeeded in bypassing the air defense systems. The Iron Dome, they hit the targets. It said that these rockets hit various areas in Haifa, in Kiryat Shmona, in the Republic, Golan, in the Upper Galilee, and so on, meaning areas in the north. And of course, with all this, there is a very big media blackout inside Israel. Anyone who reveals the existence of casualties or injuries or losses, or who films the real extent of the losses, is imprisoned. And today, they are sentenced to 5 years inside Israeli prisons. So pay close attention, there is a very big media war going on. Today, Israel only allows the publication of videos showing civilian losses and hides the real losses, which are military losses, because it only wants to show that the other side is bombing civilians and destroying homes. Even these images that are being published show only minor destruction, a house with slight damage, destroyed cars, or things like that. So imagine with me that a single cluster missile from Iran hits an area stretching over 20 kilometers and all of it is populated. And in the end, Israel comes out and says only one person was injured, knowing that the warhead weighs a ton. There is a huge media blackout because the scale of losses that Israel is suffering today is very large and completely unprecedented. Israel is in a big predicament. That's why Israel, which has become powerless today in front of Iran, has achieved nothing but failure in this war against Iran. Now it has started to turn towards Lebanon, meaning it has started to shift attention today to Lebanon, to this Lebanese party. Today, it wants to take advantage of the opportunity to use this major attack by Hezbollah as a pretext to carry out a serious escalation inside Lebanese territory so it can promote itself internally. That it is achieving accomplishments, meaning it bombed a building in Beirut, destroyed buildings and so on. And maybe now things will head towards an invasion of Lebanese territory, but be sure, if this happens, this is exactly what Hezbollah wants. A ground invasion of Lebanese territory will be a graveyard for the Israeli army. Because today the thing that everyone needs to know is this. And just as Iran prepared well throughout the past 7 or 8 months and surprised everyone today in this war, Hezbollah has also been preparing for these upcoming battles throughout these past months. It reorganized everything from within, and the most important thing for everyone to know is that it also redeployed these forces and re-equipped them, meaning with other communication mechanisms, secure and well-tested communication mechanisms, instead of the disaster we witnessed with the pagers back then. And what's noticeable is that although Hezbollah entered this war a few days ago, the real entry didn't actually begin until tonight. Because on this night, it was officially announced that they launched Operation Eaten Straw. They named this war Eaten Straw, a name taken from the Holy Quran, specifically from Surah Al-Fil verse 5, which says, "So he made them like eaten straw." When I say that the Israeli entity is now in major trouble and is suffering very seriously, this is a reality, a fact that has become clear today. Now, the Epstein Alliance in general is sending clear signals that it wants to stop this war, while on the other hand, Iran is sending signals that it will not stop this war except by imposing preconditions. So it's clear that Iran's strategy in this war has achieved great successes, ones that were not expected at all, neither by America nor by Israel. No one thought that Iran would succeed, for example, in destroying 5 early warning radars and 5 other radars that track the direction of these missiles. Exactly. Previously, Israel, thanks to these radars, used to detect the launch of Iranian missiles 10 minutes before they entered Israeli airspace. This gave them time to prepare their defenses, allowed civilians and soldiers to hide in underground shelters. It was like a game, as if it were just a game. As soon as you receive a notification on your phone that a strike is coming, you have 10 minutes to hide. That's plenty of time to make a cup of coffee, hide, and then calmly drink your coffee until the danger passes. But after these radars were destroyed, this time was reduced to just 1 minute from the moment you received the notification on your phone, until these missiles are right above your head. So, pay close attention. This war on Iran has revealed to the whole world that the safety and security of the Israeli people and army was connected and was dependent on the Gulf countries. The Gulf countries were the ones providing them with security and sufficient protection throughout all the wars, with these radars and defense systems located on their lands. And today they say there is news that America is planning or has started to move another THAAD system to the region to replace these destroyed systems. What's strange is that they attack and then negotiate. That this system is being moved from South Korea, meaning that this region where South Korea and Japan are located will be left without American protection. So, just so everyone knows, this is exactly why we call it a war of attrition, and we say that Russia and China are benefiting from this war. America is depleting its equipment and weapons stockpile in a war that is not its own at all. This war is taking a completely different turn. Israel will not be able to hold out much longer. Pay close attention. If this war expands to target civilians, there will be nothing left called Israel at all. Why am I saying this? Because when we talk about Iran, Iran is a vast country with a population of over 90 million people all spread out across the country in a number of cities scattered throughout the land. It is impossible to destroy Iran, even with nuclear weapons, even if nuclear weapons are used. But when we talk about the Israeli entity, we are talking about a very small land with a population that barely reaches 10 million people. 80% of them are located between Tel Aviv and Haifa. They live in this area between Tel Aviv and Haifa, meaning they are concentrated in a very small space. This means that destroying Israel would be very easy if this war were to escalate further. There was a statement today by Iran's ambassador to Russia. He said that if the Epstein Alliance thinks it can turn Iran into Gaza or Lebanon, it is completely mistaken because that is impossible. Speaking of this, the Iranian ambassador said that the future of peace, I consider it very important to what I'm about to say because there are facts I will mention that are related to what I am saying now. So, what did he say? He said that the future of peace in the world lies in alliances, in new organizations like BRICS and Shanghai, the Eurasian Economic Union, and so on. So it's clear that we are now entering a new phase of this war. The war is escalating strongly with each passing day, and there are still many cards that Iran has not used yet. For example, Yemen entering this war, the Sana'a government in Yemen has not yet entered this war. If Yemen enters this war, it will have another impact, a very significant impact. The damage to the world will not be limited to just the rise in oil and gas prices. It will go beyond that and affect all other products without exception. Because the first thing Yemen will do then is close the Bab al-Mandab Strait. Today, the new supreme leader of Iran, Mojtaba Khamenei, issued his first official statement. He said that if the war situation continues, other fronts will be activated where the enemy has no experience, meaning battle fronts in areas where the opponent is not used to fighting. New ones that they might have to deal with because we're not just talking about Yemen here. There may be other surprises, even bigger surprises that will be activated if this war continues. So the statement hides secrets that may not be revealed today, but might be disclosed in the coming hours. It's also clear that Iran actually has new weapons that haven't been used yet in this war, because today there was a statement from the deputy commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. He said, Iran is now studying the possibility of using a new type of missile. He said these new missiles are launched from submarines, and their speed reaches 100 meters per second. These missiles are not hypersonic, but their advantage will be strategic, as they provide the element of surprise, make detection difficult, and offer flexibility, meaning they can be launched from any location. Unexpected locations in the open sea. Iran currently has 25 submarines deployed in the open sea, and no one knows their locations. Of course, if America knew their locations, it would have destroyed them. Iran ranks third in the world in terms of the number of submarines. We find that America and Russia are in first place with 66 submarines. China is second in the world with 61 submarines, and then Iran comes directly after with 25 submarines. There are other reports that say Iran has more than that, owning 30 submarines. The important thing is that no one knows the locations of these submarines today. And today's talk about this new missile that is launched from submarines might be a warning that Iran still possesses submarine weapons. It's hard to predict how it will be used, especially since the large number of submarines Iran possesses is about 20 submarines. They are of the small type, the kind that can operate in shallow waters, meaning they can operate in the Gulf, and they can get very close to the shores, which makes them capable of surprising the target with a sudden strike. It is noticeable today that Iran is determined to continue this war as far as possible, and it is clear that it has a very big strategic goal, which is to benefit from this victory. At most, it is to deliver an unforgettable lesson, one that will never be forgotten. To this Epstein alliance, Iran has learned from previous mistakes where it used to accept stopping the war at the first American or Israeli initiative, but this time Iran refuses to do so. to gain achievements from this victory that will benefit it in the future and make it a regional and Islamic power. The first of these gains is that today it is demanding compensation from the Epstein alliance. This is exactly what the Iranian Supreme Leader confirmed today. He said, "We will demand compensation from the enemy, and if they refuse, we will destroy the region's assets." If America accepts this and compensation is paid to Iran, this would be a global precedent in modern history. Iran would be the first country from the global south and the first Islamic country in many centuries to impose compensation on the enemy because of the war. This was during a period in history when the Islamic empires ruled and dominated the world. But if this happens today, it will be a precedent in modern history. Iran will have truly changed the equation and succeeded in rewriting history. In the Islamic world, it will be the first country to save the dignity of Muslims in the last 200 or 300 years. It is clear today, dear viewers, that Iran wants to completely change the equation in the Middle East. What is certain is that now it knows that America will not agree to pay compensation and will not accept that, which means then heading towards destroying American assets in the region. This is the real goal, and this means destroying all American military bases in the region completely, making their presence impossible. The return of American forces to change all company headquarters and the American economic and energy infrastructure in the region, and thus expelling America from the region completely, means ending the American occupation of the Gulf countries. When we reflect on this development, it's strange. Honestly, it's clear that Iran, I believe, is not alone in this conflict. It's clear that there is actually significant Russian and Chinese support happening behind the scenes through this backing. They want to break American dominance. I mean, it's clear that this war will be the reason for breaking American dominance, and I mentioned this in a previous episode. This war will be the reason for the return of sovereignty to a group of global South countries, and it will also be a reason for strengthening the new multipolar world order. So now the Iranian demands are clear. They want compensation. We will see in the coming hours what Trump's response will be. Will he accept it? Will he come out of this war with a defeat that might be considered minor and could be pinned on Netanyahu? Or will he choose stubbornness and leave the region with a humiliating strategic defeat? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.